Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय।
Jai
श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय।
Jai
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jai
सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
Jai
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
हरे
Hare,
हरे
Hare
राम
Rama, Hare Rama,
राम
Rama
राम
Rama,
हरे
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, Chapter 2, the ecstatic manifestations of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we were reading about how these ecstasies of Mahaprabhu are not to be discussed openly, um, because people will not be able to understand them. They are not yet qualified to hear, because then they misunderstand and become sahajiyas and things like that. They'll try to imitate. Then who can discuss, or who can understand, who's fit to hear about these pastimes? One who receives the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is able to, or in other words, Mahaprabhu will choose. He will choose whom to give his mercy, and when he sees that a person is fit, then he will send his associates to that person, and anyone who gets the association of a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes eligible to, uh, he can understand these ecstasies of Mahaprabhu. So then who does Mahaprabhu select? So in that we read how Mahaprabhu, the whole purpose of Mahaprabhu's appearance, who is Mahaprabhu? He is Krishna himself, and Krishna has appeared. The confidential reasons for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is the three ecstasies which Krishna was hankering to relish, but which he was not able to from his position, which was only experienced by Srimati Radharani. So then, to experience those three ecstasies, Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then after he appeared, what did Mahaprabhu to do? He was able to relish those ecstasies himself, but he is so liberal that he is giving these ecstasies he is giving the process how to relish these ecstasies to his disciples, to his followers. And after giving it to them, he said, now you go and distribute it to everyone. So he does not see who is qualified or who is not qualified. It is the vow of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to drown every person, however wretched and foolish and sinful he may be, in the ocean of love of Godhead. So for this, he sends his confidential associates everywhere. So in that, we also discussed how Srila Prabhupada coming in the same, following in the same mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, took all risks to um, to give this love of Godhead to everyone in the whole world, to the most fallen, most wretched people, most unqualified people. So that's what we were reading. 84. Let me see what we read yesterday. Yeah. So who has these pastimes, right? So how are these pastimes coming down to us? They're coming in disciplic succession. They're coming in disciplic succession. Mahaprabhu's pastimes are understood by Swarup Damodar Goswami. He is the constant associate of Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu was manifesting these ecstasies, his constant companion was Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. And Swarup Damodar Goswami maintained a diary, and he taught this, explained this to Raghunath Das Goswami, who was kept under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. And when Raghunath Das Goswami, he heard from Swarup Damodar Goswami, he memorized everything. And then when he came to Vrindavan, by the order and the request of all the Goswamis in Vrindavan, every day he would sit on the banks of Radhakund and he would speak on the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. And Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami would come and hear every single day from Raghunath Das Goswami. And this Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So whatever is written in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so the topmost jewel of all, scriptures, right? The topmost essence is what? It is these ecstasies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is in the bhava of Srimati Radharani. So yesterday we discussed the various levels. Of course, yeah, I told you about the different levels of bhakti, right? Starting with Lord Indradev, we went all the way up to Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. And of course, I didn't even explain about the other processes, right? People are doing karma, karma kanda, karma yoga, and then they're doing jnana, ashtanga yoga. No, I didn't even count those. It is all, bhakti is the independent, supreme process. Bhakti does not need the help of anything else. Bhakti is Swayam Siddha. Swayam Siddha means it doesn't need anyone's help to give perfection to a person. And all other processes depend on bhakti to get their own perfection. You cannot get perfection in karma, you cannot get perfection in jnana, you cannot get perfection in ashtanga yoga, tapasya, you name it, giving charity, any process you cannot get perfection unless it gets the support of bhakti. In every process, there is some little bit of bhakti, And why that bhakti is used? Because without bhakti, they cannot give their results. This is the position of bhakti. So bhakti is topmost. And within bhakti also the highest is the love of Srimati Radharani. And in that also, this love in separation, this Vipralamba Bhav is topmost. And that, when that comes, what are the ecstasies experienced? And externally, it looks like the person is suffering, is in great sorrow, that even stones melt seeing the suffering of such a devotee. Dry wood melts and flows. That means any stone-hearted person also would weep seeing the suffering of this devotee. But as much as it appears to be a suffering from outside, actually within they are relishing the highest pinnacle of ecstasy. So the other day, 2 days ago, His Holiness Shivram Maharaj was giving class, Bhagavatam class in temple. So there Maharaj said that, I forget who, which Acharya Maharaj was quoting. Maybe it is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I'm not exactly sure. But Maharaj said, devotees secretly, right? Secretly within their hearts, they maintain this desire that they should be separated from Krishna. Like these topmost devotees, they secretly maintain this desire in their hearts, secretly, that they should have separation from Krishna. Why? Because this ecstasy is much higher than the union. So anyway, so this is the topmost, okay? And this topmost ecstasy, now Mahaprabhu is giving to everyone freely through this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this Chaitanya Charitamrita is consisting of the essence of all scripture, the essence of all religion, the essence of all bhakti. The topmost jewels of bhakti is there in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And it is the essence, and it is handed down to us in the parampara, directly coming from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying in this verse. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the topmost jewels. They have been kept in the storehouse of Swarup Damodar Goswami, who has explained them to Raghunath Das Goswami, who has repeated them to me. Whatever little I have heard from Raghunath Das Goswami, I have described in this book, which is presented to all devotees. So Srila Prabhupada had said in the purport. So if you want, you can read that later. Jadi keho heno koi ग्रंथ कोइला श्लोकमय इतरा जने नारिबे पूजिते प्रभुर जय आचरण से कोरी वर्णना सर्वचित्त नारी आराधिते. If one says that Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of Sanskrit verses and therefore not understandable by a common man, I reply that what I have described are the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that for me to satisfy everyone is not possible. Okay? This is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying. If somebody says, okay, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is topmost, but it is simply filled with so many Sanskrit verses, we are fortunate that we have this English translation, the word to word, right? Word to word translation, then the English, the meaning of the sentence translation, and then a commentary. And not just commentary of one Acharya. This is the commentary by Srila Prabhupada. After studying all different Acharyas' commentaries, he's giving us the essence, right? Whatever he has digested, he's giving us at a time, according to what we are able to accept. So what else can we ask for? But when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote, it would be simply the verses, right? So if somebody told Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, oh, I cannot understand what to speak of somebody who doesn't speak Bengali, what about them? But he's saying that if somebody says, oh, it's filled with Sanskrit verses, isn't it? Whenever Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes a statement, he immediately substantiates that statement with a quote from the scriptures. So in Sanskrit, there are verses throughout, we see. So if somebody says, oh, it's filled with Sanskrit verses, I cannot understand. Common men cannot understand. Not I cannot understand. Common men cannot understand Sanskrit verses, that high language they won't be able to understand. If somebody brings this point up, an answer to that is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, from my side, I'm only describing the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's my offering. Now, to satisfy everyone, it's not within my capacity. It's not possible, right? I'm giving you the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's see what Srila Prabhupada is writing. Purport. Srila Kaviraj Goswami and one who follows in his footsteps do not have to cater to the public. Okay? You don't have to uh, water down, dilute the philosophy in order to make it um, what is the word? In order to make it acceptable to everyone, right? I'm not getting the right word, but um, anyway. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and one who follows in his footsteps do not have to cater to the public. Their business is simply to satisfy the previous acharyas and describe the pastimes of the Lord. This is such an important principle for us in the conditioned state. Because generally the tendency is we want to, this is actually a sign of those who are not very advanced. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that those who are less intelligent, right? They go to the demigods. Why? Because they want immediate results. Immediate. Right now, I want to, whatever I want to enjoy now. They cannot think far. Right now, whatever I can enjoy. You can also see, like small children, right? You can give them a small candy, and you can take away a most valuable thing from them because they don't understand the bigger picture. Right now, I'm getting something to enjoy. So this is a sign of somebody who's not well developed. Similarly, someone who is not very advanced in Krishna consciousness, in a neophyte stage, we will be concerned more about our audience in front of us appealing. That is the word, appealing. We want, like, our first priority is we want to be very appealing to everyone in front of us, and they say, they're amused by what you have to offer to them, and then they'll say, "Wow, wow, very nice," and then you become happy, isn't it? This is a very uh, low level of development in Krishna consciousness. But one who is an advanced devotee He's always concerned about, because he is, like Srila Prabhupada says, Karyam, matlab, means he's duty bound. He's duty bound. I have an order from my superiors, or I have, exactly, I have an order, I have a responsibility which has to be done. And of course, also, that's one level, as with a sense of duty, and even higher than that would be, I like the when the superior becomes pleased, when the superior is satisfied, that is all I want in my life. That's the that's the reward of my life. So therefore, when an advanced devotee is making any offering, he's not looking down upon who all are seeing me. He's actually looking up at his previous acharyas and all the way up to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Am I offering something which is pleasing to my previous acharyas? Why am I even doing this service? Srila Prabhupada wrote all these books. He preached. And even after Srila Prabhupada, now you see the disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are really pushing on. They're all in their 70s, late 70s, even entering into 80s. You think they're doing it because they're getting a big following? No, it's not possible. People cannot sustain, you know, uh, they cannot. You've seen material politicians or even actors and film stars and other famous celebrities, they can push on for some time. But when material nature comes down upon them, with old age and with diseases, they kind of start falling away. But devotees, pure devotees of Krishna, who are surrendered to the Supreme Lord, to the previous acharyas, time and again you will see. Look at Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, look at Vrindavan Das Thakur, look at Srila Prabhupada, and look at our gurus now. They become even more serious and even more vigorous, even more desperate to push on this movement as they are aging materially. Not just aging. You look at Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He said what he achieved in those last few days of his earthly, life, he would not have been able to achieve that even if he lived for 50 years. He was able to transform the hearts of so many devotees who had become bitter, who had left the movement. So he was very happy that he got that terminal, disease. And he used that in Krishna's service. So our acharyas, they're not calculating about material name, fame, or material success. They're not calculating it in that term, in those terms. Rather, they're saying, am I doing whatever I'm doing? Am I doing it to please the previous acharyas? That is their constant meditation and that is their prayer. That is why they are not affected by the material results, whether they are favorable or unfavorable. Because this is, I will do it anyway. Today I may get 1,000 followers and tomorrow there may be 0 followers. But the reason why I'm doing it is not to appeal to the people so that they will glorify me. The reason I am doing it is because this is my duty, this is my debt to my previous acharyas. How much they have done. Just simply look at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then all the acharyas after him. How much debt I have. And even if they gave their whole life every moment, still it is not sufficient. So, this is a question of advancement. This realization is a question of advancement. The more a person is advanced in Krishna consciousness, the more he realizes he won't waste even a single moment. He will use every moment because he sees this is not my time, this is not my body, my resources. It all belongs to Krishna. It all belongs to my predecessor acharyas. It is by their sacrifice that I am able to benefit whatever I'm enjoying today. It's by their sacrifice. I owe them a debt. So, regardless of the material results, they cannot stop. They just keep pushing on. Of course, having said this, now in order to please the previous acharyas, the more you reach out to the people, the more they are actually, so you have to be sensitive. You see, you want the people to actually accept this Krishna consciousness. You want to present it in a way so that they will actually able to take it. But that is not the first priority. Even if it is a priority, it is because I want to please the previous acharyas. You cannot just push that aside, pleasing the previous acharyas aside, and just be caught up in the immediate, oh, this person does not like this, these people don't like this program, let me change the program to something else so that it will be pleasing to them. No, you cannot. Certain things can be adjusted, but the basics cannot be, the principles cannot be adjusted, regardless of whether anyone comes or not. I don't care. Look at Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. And Srila Prabhupada went to the West. Everybody was engaged and it was a norm. It was a normal thing. For us, because we are in the association of devotees, we look at them as the outsiders, right? And then we think, I can't even imagine anyone doing these things because now we are into this. When Srila Prabhupada came, there was nobody, there was no one like him. Vegetarian, even those who were yoga teachers, they were also into one or more of these habits. And the people that he was talking to, telling them about Bhagavad Gita, about Krishna consciousness, giving these things up was not even, Srila Prabhupada said his god brothers told him, when you go to the West and if you tell them, my dear sir, please give up meat eating, intoxication, gambling, or Srila Prabhupada thought, after he saw their experience of preaching in the West, before coming to America, Srila Prabhupada was thinking, when I go there and tell them, my dear sir, please give up meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, the people will say, please go home. We are not interested in your philosophy, go home. We cannot give these things up. Still, Srila Prabhupada thought, anyway, let me try. He was prepared for the worst. And he said, let me try. Not that he was going to make any compromise. Oh, in the West, they have to drink alcohol because the weather is so cold. So I'll tell them, no problem, you can drink alcohol. Did Srila Prabhupada do that? No. Even if I get one disciple who is able to follow strictly these things, and who can become a pure devotee, I will consider my mission a success. And what was Srila Prabhupada's mission? How much did he put into that? How many sacrifices? Heart attacks, poverty, rejection. And after experiencing all this, no compromising. Not that, oh, I have brought it to this level, now let me give it so more people will come. Never compromising with the principles. Right? Why? Because I don't have the authority to do that. I'm simply a servant. This is not mine to just meddle with. Like a postman, when he gives something, he cannot tamper with the envelope and, take some money out and give you a little bit. No, he cannot do that. So a devotee is always conscious that what he's carrying, what he's offering, is not his property. It is being handed down in the parampara, coming from the Supreme Lord very carefully. So he first of all accepts it with great care and attention, and he passes it on to the next person. And if you don't find anyone who is qualified to receive it yet, then you wait. And meanwhile, you train them. And then similarly, when we take initiation, we have to take these vows, right? We have to take those vows very, very seriously. So this is the mood of the Acharya. He is not doing it you know, for public appeal. No. Of course, without, you know, interfering with the message as it is, when it is presented in a way which is acceptable to the public, that is the expertise. That is the expertise of the devotee. But his loyalty, his chastity is always to his previous acharyas. That cannot be shaken ever, regardless of how much of that is why you see, they are not affected, they don't become proud when they get who had the type of fame that Srila Prabhupada received, who had that type of fame in the modern day, all over the world. But he is always the same humble devotee of Krishna. External name fame could not affect his consciousness. So many examples are there. If you read Srila Prabhupada's Leelas, you hear from his disciples, memories, you will see. All attention was on Srila Prabhupada. Whether you take in Vrindavan when Srila Prabhupada is performing the arti at the installation of Krishna Balram Mandir, the deities of Krishna Balram, Radha Shamsundar, or in London when Radha Landanishwara were being installed, all attention was on Srila Prabhupada. All cameras, all devotees, he's performing arti and everyone is focused on him. You didn't see even for a fraction of a second that his attention was wavered or he was just trying to, enjoy that position. His full focus, full attention was on the deities because he was in the position of a servant, not in the position of an enjoyer. So, going back to our purport here, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's purport, Srila Prabhupada's purport, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and one who follows in his footsteps do not have to cater to the public. Their business is simply to satisfy the previous acharyas and describe the pastimes of the Lord. One who is able to understand can relish this exalted transcendental literature, which is actually not meant for ordinary persons like scholars and literary men. So the Acharya will give it as it is, regardless of whether you understand it or not, because for you to understand, you need the qualification. What is the qualification? You have to surrender to a devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have to surrender. And by his mercy, you may be able to understand. And one who understands this, he'll be able to relish this Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is not for every person. It's not for it. They won't be able to understand, and what to speak of relishing it. Now, just because all people, the kavya, you write some, magazines about mundane talks, about celebrities' lives, or about how to lose weight and things like that. Yeah, they'll sell like hotcakes in the market. That's what people will understand. And you go with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, we don't understand, we don't want. So, to make it appealing to everyone, can you change? Can you make it something which is no? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying it's not possible for me to satisfy everyone. I can only give you the message as it is. And whoever is able to understand, now who is able to understand? That was said in the previous verse. One who is able to understand, Mahaprabhu sends his associates to that person. That means on whom Mahaprabhu's mercy comes, that person who gets the association, he will understand and he will relish. To make it appealing to all the common people who don't want to make any adjustments to their bad habits, and at the same time they want to understand, they're not able to understand what can be done. Like the other day in Srimad Bhagavatam class, Mataji was asking, Indavali Mataji was asking a question. Nowadays, the young generation, it is hard to explain to them. They ask, they question, why, Lord Ramchandra did this, or why, it's like this and like that. Questions about pastimes of the Lord. First of all, do you have the qualification to understand all these pastimes? You cannot understand these pastimes the way you read a mundane literature or some storybook, and the way you understand it, because that's your level of understanding. You're only there. This is a very high topic. You cannot understand these pastimes the way you understand mundane stories and mundane novels. You cannot understand. You need qualification. You have to be purified enough to be able to understand. It's not a topic of argument that anyone will come and they'll start challenging, and then you're obliged to, even if you explain, they won't understand because they don't have the qualification. Exactly, like, you know you ask questions according to your level, what you are able to digest. Or it's very good, you want to understand higher topics, then take the austerity to follow the path, get purified, get the qualification, then you will understand. Of course you will understand. It's not that there are no answers. Answers are there, but do I have the qualification to understand? So the acharyas are not obliged to come down to bring the scripture down to make it appealing. That's a great disservice done by the media. They make these movies on Mahabharat and on Krishna Leela, and they tamper with the original facts. Why? Oh, people won't understand. I'll just give you one example. In one Mahabharat, they show that when Krishna released the 16,000 princesses from Bhaumasura or Narakasura, after killing Bhaumasura, when these 16,000 princesses who were imprisoned by him were released by Krishna, what is the actual thing? They were all aspiring, they all wanted Krishna to be their husband. They wanted Krishna to be their husband. But so they requested Krishna, please accept us as your wives, all of them. And the way Srila Prabhupada explains this, what is not difficult for Krishna? If they approached any other person, human being, or even a demigod, could he actually marry all of them and satisfy all of them simultaneously? Not possible. So this person, whoever has written on this written means who has made this movie on Mahabharata, he says, like there Krishna is saying, because all of you have been imprisoned by this Bhaumasur, you cannot be married to anyone else, right? That's the Vedic culture. Prabhupada says, one night you spend in someone else's home, nobody will accept you. Unmarried girl, no one will marry. So now what about their future? What should they do? So out of compassion, because no one else will marry them, what will happen to them? Krishna, these are Krishna speaking in that movie, saying that, okay, I will marry you, but I will simply marry you so that you'll get a social position, right? That you are a married lady, but I will not have any relationship with any of you. Not like we will not live like husband and wife. Why? Why make up such stories? Because according to his or her, whoever has done that, level of understanding, this is not right. Right? One man should marry one wife, like Lord Ramchandra, right? Eka Patni Vrata. So that is good, that is moral. And being God, if he married so many others, it will look very bad. It's not right. So he is judging what Krishna should do, what is right and what is wrong, and then he will make Krishna's pastimes on that. Is that correct? No, it is great disservice. So he is trying to put Krishna to his level, bring him to your level of morality. The reality is Krishna is transcendental. So therefore, coming in parampara, understanding through Guru parampara is very important. Get the message as it is, coming in disciplic succession. And for you to be accepted into the disciplic succession, you have to become qualified first. Follow the rules and regulations. And when you are admitted into the parampara, then you receive the message as it is. You understand. And then you present it to the public as it is without tampering with the original message. That's a true devotee. And that's what is being said here about the acharyas. They don't care about what the people will think, whether it is appealing to them or not. One who is able to understand, I am giving the message as it is. Whoever is able to understand will be able to relish this exalted transcendental literature. By the way, this is not meant for ordinary persons like scholars and literary men. Generally, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes recorded in the Chaitanya Charitamrita are studied in universities and scholastic circles from a literary and historical point of view. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is seen as a historical personality, not as a supreme personality of Godhead. So they read Chaitanya Charitamrita from a historical point of view or from a literary point of view. Hmm. But actually, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is not a subject matter for research workers or literary scholars. It is simply meant for those devotees who have dedicated their lives to the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the thing. So everyone cannot understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unless he's a devotee. He won't be able to understand. And this is written, it's presented for the devotees who have dedicated their lives, not for scholars. Nahi kaha savirodha, nahi kaha anurodha, sahaja vastu kori vivarana. Yadi hoy ragodesha, taha hoy avesha, sahaja vastu na jaye likhana. In this Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is no contradictory conclusion, nor is anyone else's opinion accepted. I have written this book to describe the simple substance as I have heard it from superiors. You will see it again and again. I am just presenting the way I have heard it from superiors. It is coming in disciplic succession. Whatever I have heard, I am just repeating it to you. There is no contradictory conclusion. I am giving it as it is. Nor is anyone else's opinion accepted. Okay? If I become involved in someone's likes and dislikes, I cannot possibly write the simple truth. That's the thing, right? Everyone will give their opinion, right? You'll do a poll and you will say, you tell me how should this be presented, this way or that way, so that it will be appealing to the people. Everyone will give their ideas and then you'll start meddling with the original thing to make it presentable, appealing to the audience, and finally you won't have the original. Prabhupada told us purity is the force. Purity is the force. When you're offering something pure, genuine people will come to accept it because they can see the purity. Cheap things, right? Impure, cheap things with glitter, many people will take. But what's the value? Like Srila Prabhupada says, one moon is sufficient. What's the value of so many stars in the sky? So when we present the simple truth as it is, regardless of how appealing it may be or it may not be. Because our responsibility is to be faithful to the predecessors who have given that message to us. Like a postman, we have to just pass on the same message. Whether the other person accepts it or not, that is his problem. As long as you are doing justice, you are giving the message as it is with a pure heart. Pure heart means your intentions are right. You want to help this other person. You don't want to show off how learned you are to the other person. Then you are interfering with the free passage of that message. From your side, you give the message as it is with sincere desire that the other person may receive it and may also benefit from this. Now, in spite of yours, and for this you have to pray to the previous acharyas. It's not within your capacity. You have to pray, let me be an instrument to pass on this message. And then you just become an instrument. Don't take any credit for anything. Just pass on the message. And if the other person accepts it, the credit goes to the message itself, to all the previous acharyas. I'm just an instrument. And if the person does not accept it, I don't make any compromise with the message, but at the same time, I may feel, oh, maybe I did not, because the message cannot fail. Maybe I didn't present it. Maybe there were some flaws in my presentation, in my purity. And of course, there's also, finally, you should also consider that Krishna's will is supreme. I can just do my job. Who accepts it, who does not accept it, he's also there as Paramatma in the other person's heart. When you have too many offenses, in spite of coming in touch with with Krishna consciousness, you cannot accept it. What can we do? We can simply keep trying, that's all. But we cannot, we can just keep doing our service like that. So in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is no contradictory conclusion, nor is anyone else's opinion accepted. I have written this book to describe the simple substance as I have heard it from superiors. If I become involved in someone's likes and dislikes, I cannot possibly write the simple truth. Purport. The simplest thing for human beings is to follow their predecessors. This is such a sublime and such an important principle for devotees. The simplest thing for human beings is to follow their predecessors. Judgment according to mundane senses is not a very easy process. Judgment according to mundane senses is not a very easy process, like your direct perception, judging based on your sense perception. It's not a very easy process. Whatever is awakened by attachment to one's predecessor is the way of devotional service, as indicated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whatever is awakened by attachment to one's predecessor is the way of devotional service, as indicated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is why it is very important that we practice Krishna consciousness sincerely ourselves, because when we are practicing what has been given to us, the process very sincerely, That shows our attachment to the predecessor, is it not? Whatever it is, as simple as chanting 16 rounds, rising in the morning, honoring only prasadam, associating with devotees, reading Srimad Bhagavatam. These are all the things which have been given to us by the predecessor. If we take this up very seriously, that shows our attachment to the previous predecessors. Then, by this practice, whatever else comes, that's the way of devotional service. Whatever is awakened, that is the way of devotional service. And of course, the different stages, initially you're just doing it as rules, as a matter of duty. But then more than that is when there is consciousness, you're actually praying. You're praying on a daily basis to the Lord that you want to render devotional service. You want to please Him, to empower you so that you may be an instrument like that. That's even better, higher. Then, with this humility, when you present Krishna consciousness and whatever effect, that is the way of devotional life. That's the way of devotional life. First of all, you follow and then you teach. Whatever is awakened by attachment to one's predecessor is the way of devotional service, as indicated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The author says, however, that he cannot consider the opinions of those who become attracted or repelled by such things. Yes? Some people they say, wow, it's very nice. And some other people say, no, I cannot accept this. This doesn't make sense. How can this be? But your loyalty should be to the message that is given by the previous Acharya, regardless of somebody's likes or dislikes, opinions on that matter. The author says, however, that he cannot consider the opinions of those who become attracted or repelled by such things, because one cannot write impartially in that way. In other words, the author is stating that he did not inject personal opinion in Caitanya Charitamrita. He has simply described his spontaneous understanding from superiors. He is describing his spontaneous understanding from superiors. So you hear from the superiors, and what you understand, you're presenting that. So hearing is important. You hear from superiors, and by whatever you have spontaneously understood by hearing from them, that's what you're presenting. If he had been carried away by someone's likes and dislikes, he could not have written of such a sublime subject matter in such an easy way, isn't it? This is the topmost topic. He would not have been able to present it in such an easy way if his understanding was adulterated with the likes and dislikes of others. The actual facts are understandable to real devotees. Yes, real devotees. The actual facts are understandable to real devotees. When these facts are recorded, they are very congenial to the devotees. Right? Who finds these? Because they are presented by real devotees. Only those who are devotees find these subjects to be favorable, very useful. When these facts are recorded, they are very congenial to the devotees, but one who is not a devotee cannot understand. Such is the subject matter for realization. Mundane scholarship and its concomitant attachments and detachments cannot arouse spontaneous love of Godhead. Such love cannot be described by a mundane scholar. Yes? So therefore, our attachment should always be to the real devotees. Who are the real devotees? Our acharyas coming in the disciplic succession, they are real devotees. And we should hear from them, and by practicing our devotional service sincerely, whatever understanding we get according to our advancement, it's not like when you hear from them, now you understood everything. No, it's like layers and layers, right? The very first time when you read Bhagavad Gita, you get one understanding, and you read again, then you get more. And you read again and again and again and again. You go deeper and deeper and deeper, because this is transcendental literature. So then, according to our level of understanding, whatever we have understood, with all sincerity, whatever we have understood, we present that. That's all. So the devotees will find these books, these literatures to be very useful. But somebody who is puffed up with his or her material accomplishments, that such people won't be able to understand. They won't be able to relish. They won't understand what to speak of relishing it. So therefore, for spiritual progress, our material qualification is not at all a consideration. It is not at all a consideration. However highly materially qualified a person may be, that will not impress a real sadhu. But what will impress a real sadhu is the natural devotional attitude, humility. In spite of having a material qualification, if a person is very, very humble and devotional, that is what is going to appeal to a sadhu, to real sadhu. And someone who does not have any material qualification, high material qualification, and if he is naturally humble, that will also be appealing, because sadhu is looking at your devotional qualities, your humility. Anyway, so these books, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, I am presenting Caitanya Charitamrita, pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as I have received it in disciplic succession. Whatever I have heard from my predecessor, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, how much ever I was able to understand, I am presenting it without tampering with the message. I am just giving it as it is, as much as I have understood, I have presented it. This is such a high topic, it's not meant for ordinary people, but I've been able to give because I'm being truthful. I'm giving the message as it is. If I consider what people will like, who will understand, who will not understand, and things like that, then I won't be able to present the message as it is. That means you won't get the original message. And then Srila Prabhupada is explaining to us who will be able to relish this message, which is given as it is. One who is a devotee, he will be able to relish it. And those who are not devotees, they won't relish it. That's the protection, actually, the seal. That's the seal. Same with Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is open to everyone. But all types of people read Srimad Bhagavatam and give their own commentaries. The Mayavadis also read Srimad Bhagavatam. They have their own commentary on Bhagavatam. They don't understand. They see Krishna as some historical person. That's all. Not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then they come up with all these questions. Oh, he was killed by a hunter. How he can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? There's this seal. What is that seal? You have to approach tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. You have to approach a spiritual master who has understood it, and then he will open the seal, and then you'll be able to understand what is inside. But by challenging, by arguing, by logic, you want to understand, you'll never understand. How much ever the other person may try to explain, you won't understand. And it doesn't mean that person doesn't know. That's why that person is not able to convince me. The problem is with me. I have not surrendered yet. That's why I'm not able to understand. There is a seal which I'm not able to break through and go inside. So I need the mercy of Vaishnavas. When I receive the kripa, mercy of a true sadhu, then I can get enough faith by which I can surrender to the Supreme Lord. And when I surrender, then I'll be able to understand something about these topics. So only devotees can understand. With that, I will end today. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. You're all so patient. I go
Hare Krishna.
over time. Stay. Hare Krishna. Thank you.